rapid urbanization and industrialization. But the 20th century introduced more objective, universal understandings of culture, particularly through the work of the anthropologist Franz Boas, who described culture as a way of life, or the ways people inhabiting a common geographic area do things, the ways they think and feel about things. Around the same time, in Germany, social scientists were developing similar ideas of culture as the totality of ideas in a society, popular as well as scholarly, low as well as a high culture. Since then, various philosophers, anthropologists, linguists, and sociologists, both in Europe and in America, have qualified the term with notions of high culture, folk culture, mass culture, and popular culture, the latter two born with the advent of mechanical reproduction in the 19th century. We also have references to national cultures or regional cultures, as well as more recent uses of the word that refer to various forms of human difference, like gay culture, Jewish culture, black culture, and diasporic and transnational cultures. Historians of culture rely upon surviving evidence to capture the less tangible, less quantifiable aspects of the human past, the expression of meaning, values, symbols, ideas, knowledge, and ideology, as packaged within cultural texts that are then preserved within archives curated by experts in classified realms of knowledge. The first generation of American cultural historians sifted through this material, looking for clues to the worldview or mentality of a people in a particular time and place, be it Puritans in New England, slaves in the antebellum South, or the nouveau riche of suburban Los Angeles. Materials consisted of a wide variety of printed, written, or illustrated texts, including, but not limited to, drawings, maps, letters, poems, diaries, novels, plays, charters, sermons, newspapers, pamphlets, and even sheet music, board games, and playing cards. It also included oral traditions of storytelling passed down across generations, as well as a range of expressive practices like art, architecture, landscape design, fashion, sport, theater, and parades, as well as rituals connected to spiritual beliefs, such as funerals and weddings. Post-Civil War cultural historians have accessed vast troves of cultural material, amassed through mechanical or electronic reproduction, and they have found new life in digitization. Americans in the past and present have relied upon photographs, motion pictures, music recordings, television programs, and their digital versions broadcast through satellite signals streamed by computers and their handheld versions, and other forms of communication to express themselves and transmit the values, beliefs, and ideas that constitute culture. These disparate materials are the stuff of cultural history, the texts through which culture is created and transmitted. The stories embedded within these texts are usually fictional, but not always. Maps and newspapers, for example, tell stories, even though they purport to present factual representations of the world, either through the science of cartography or through journalistic standards of truth and objectivity. Yet the human propensity for bias, often unconscious, shapes newspaper content, either through editorial decisions to cover certain stories and not others, or through a reporter's choice of words that carry implicit values and assumptions. Like newspapers, maps can lie and distort. Cartography, as it took shape during the period that marked the thrust of European expansion, often diminished the size of other continents relative to Europe, or it demarcated imagined boundaries between rival nations and empires. Cultural historians do not presume easy distinctions between fact and fiction. They see the potential for human bias in all cultural texts, including their own scholarship, and they consider the ways in which such bias subverts or supports the status quo. While they rely upon factual, archival evidence to support their claims, they are less interested in facts and more focused on their interpretation by diverse social groups. It is a fact of American history, for example, that 14 to 15 million Africans and their descendants were enslaved between 1609 and 1865. But the radically different interpretations of that fact, as embodied within a wide variety of cultural texts, from Sojourner Truth's Ain't I a Woman, 1851, to Hollywood's rendition of Gone with the Wind, 1939, to the silhouette cutouts of the 21st century artist Kara Walker, fuel the very debates that animate cultural history. Culture, like war, is politics by other means.